Mejid is therefore not able to be here tonight to be presented with his award. However, this will only make his voice louder, his dreams stronger, and our collective fight for human rights, democracy and peace even more important. The Student Peace Prize Committee has, through nominations and strict procedures, elected Mejid Tookeli as this year's recipient. Erik Skreiner Evans, leader of the committee, is here tonight to elaborate the terms and conditions of the Student Peace Prize. And to explain Mejid's legacy, the leader of Iranian human rights movement, Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam, has traveled to Trondheim and is here to speak to us tonight. So, please give him a welcome applause.
Good evening. My name is Erik Schreiner Evans. I am the head of the Student Peace Prize Committee. The committee has consisted of experts from Norwegian media, academia, politics, and civil society, and representatives from the National Union of Students in Norway. Firstly, I would like to thank the Nominations Committee for its professional and thorough research into the individual candidates, all deserving great recognition for their efforts and struggle. After careful consideration, the Peace Prize Committee concluded that the Student Peace Prize for 2013 be awarded to the Iranian student activist Mejid Tookeli, currently imprisoned in Rajai, Iran. The reasoning of the jury is as follows. Mejid Tookeli is a role model for all students dedicated to the promotion of peace and democracy around the world. The jury emphasizes Mejid's continued work towards allowing students the right to participation and contribution despite the threat to his own safety. He has shown great capability to inspire and motivate others to engage themselves in the same cause. In a turbulent context dominated by violence and oppression, Tookeli stands as a spokesperson for peaceful solutions and development through reform towards a democratic society based on participation and the freedom of speech. I would also like to take the opportunity to elaborate. In a geopolitical context dominated by confrontation between states and nations, one must not forget that democracy seldom comes about by external pressure. Democracy grows rather from within a society. Freedom is a need, a craving, embedded in all of humanity. Thus, the forces of democracy exist in all societies. Wherever democracy is absent, it still has its proponents. Mejid Tookeli is a dauntless example of such proponents. Having already served one jail sentence and knowing the risk of repeat incarceration, Mejid Tookeli still chose to speak out about the injustices he saw. There are moral absolutes. Democracy is fundamentally a moral issue. This I hold as non-debatable. However, the exact content of the term and how to best bring it about are much more complicated questions. Surely the answers to these questions depend on the local, geographical, cultural, and historical contexts. Democracy never comes about as a result from outside pressure, certainly not by the use of force. Democracy can only grow from the inside of a society or a nation. Although their motives may be noble, some actors on the global stage currently seem to prescribe to a methodology of armed threats. This is not the way to go. If love for good values is the alleged motivation for violent aggression, then the logical consequence naturally becomes an undermining of those very values, thus only deepening the conflict and divide. By undermining our values, we also undermine our greatest allies. Rather than subscribing to concepts like preemptive strikes and intimidating rhetoric, we need to acknowledge internal forces, like Tookeli, and do what we can to aid them. These are our allies. The first thing we need to do is to aid these, our brothers and sisters, our fellow students, is to recognize them, to see them, and to spread their message of a society based on values like respect, understanding, participation, equal liberties, and freedom of expression. This prize is our attempt at doing so.